I'd love to share with you the secret foundation of yogic philosophy. I was probably practicing yoga for 10 or 15 years and really honestly chasing after this philosophic path before I learned this real basis, and it was super interesting to me because I've always been kind of a Stoic Greek philosopher kind of guy and also a Christian, and so I have this basis of philosophy that I bring with me, and yogic philosophy just felt very different until I learned this. There are two principles that are kind of the foundation of yoga that we really don't talk about very often. We kind of jump into talking about the eight-limbed path. I think it's really useful to understand these two principles for the basis of yoga. And here's the first one. Your reality is not the reality. It's just your reality. So here's the idea, is that over our life, we have all of these experiences, we have these thought patterns we've developed, we have this person that is us, that is developed through our lives. And this person is not actually seeing the reality. What we're seeing is our response to reality. Here's what I mean. You're walking out on the street, and all of a sudden, a dog runs up to a gate and barks at you. Well, you might have different reactions to that. I grew up with dogs in my home, and so to me, when I hear a dog barking, usually I have the reaction of happy, fun times, look at the cute doggy. But some people have very different reactions. It's a scary thing. And I totally understand that. People have different experiences in their past, they've reinforced different thoughts, they see the world differently. What I'm saying is, both me and the other fictitious person are not seeing reality. What I'm seeing is not the fact that there's a dog barking and who knows why. What I'm seeing is I hear a dog barking and I respond to that with happiness and fun. And what someone else might see is not there's a dog barking and who knows, we need to investigate this further. What they see is there's a dog barking and that's scary and terrible. And so both of those are not the actual reality. They're realities that we have built for ourselves through these past experiences and our responses to these experiences. This is a really powerful idea because what it means is we can't change our experiences, but we can change our responses to those experiences with practice. And our responses to those experiences build patterns, and those patterns construct the world that we live in. So everything that happens to us all the time, we have certain stress triggers and happiness triggers and love triggers, and most of those are actually false. They can be useful. I'm not saying you should throw them all out, but I am saying they don't represent reality. They represent our responses to reality. And the more we can align those responses with actual reality, the better off we'll be. So the yogic response to this idea is, I love the idea of gardening our mind. One of my yoga teachers, Christine, used to talk about this. It was the first time I'd ever heard someone talk about this, but I think it's very common that we think of meditation and yoga practice as going into those thoughts and perceptions that we've built in our head and kind of learning to pull out the ones we don't want and to plant new things that we do want. And then whatever things we put there, they construct the world in which we live because they define our perception of the world. So this basis, this idea of the fact that our thoughts and our experiences and patterns develop our perception of reality, which is our reality, which is not the same as actual reality, it plays out in the fact that we should all take actions and think thoughts that are good thoughts and actions so that we create a happy and quality world for ourselves. And it's really selfish. It's that I want to do good because I want to experience good and I want my world to be good. All of this comes from the first secret underlying foundation of yoga, which is the fact that your reality is not actual reality. But there's a second basis. The second basis of yoga practice comes from the fact that we seek the divine within ourselves. Now, this is something you may have to take by faith. As a Christian, it's very easy for me because I believe that all of us have access to the Holy Spirit or access to experience the divine within ourselves. So seeing that within the yoga philosophy just echoes my experience. And actually, this is the way a yoga guru would argue it to you. They wouldn't say here's my argument about why the divine is within you. They would say, let's do some practices and you will experience the divine eventually. And those practices are pranayama, focus meditation, and eventually meditations. So the idea here of seeking the divine within ourselves is the fact that we can't impact the real world that exists out there. But what we can impact is the world that we construct for ourselves. So if we seek the divine within ourselves, we are creating the absolute best world for ourselves because it's a world that's in line with the creator who made all of this. Truly, it's like yoga almost becomes Christian at this point. It's like We want to do good. We want to seek God within ourselves because we want to align ourselves with the divine so that the world around us is a place that we want to live in and experience. If this was interesting to you, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button. And if you're interested in a meditation practice, I got one coming up here for you. This is the Stoic Yogi, out.